Thank you, Paul, and I want to thank everyone for being here. The one thing that really jumped out at me personally as head football coach here is the way our kids battled back, Saturday in the second half. I did not feel in the first half we were playing to our capabilities. We did have a discussion at halftime, and our kids responded. And I don't think a year ago we might not have been able to do that. Being on the road, to be able to, pull off 18 points and take the lead, with 6 minutes left in the game, I felt like most of us, to put our defense out there, as I've seen in practice so many times. All we were looking for was one play. We had three third down situations, 2 fourth downs, and, we weren't able to pull it off. But I was proud of the way our kids fought back. I think the PAT really, looking back at it, really cost us. And you think, and we talk to the players all the time, you got to go out there each and every snap and play to the best of your ability. And we were just a little too tight on our formation, and it created a shorter edge, and they got through there, and we chased that doggone point. And, we had as many touchdowns scored, but didn't convert in that situation. I tell you, the great play in that game, second half, was Jalil Verser's punt block. Just a tremendous effort by a young man who has really developed into a real fine football player, has been very productive for us. But it is a difficult loss, but there's no excuses. We had our chances, and now what we need to do, as I told the team yesterday, hey, we need to play better. We need to get better. We need to execute with more effort. We need to play 4 quarters of football, and simply we have no margin of error. And now we got to get ready for UConn. Homecoming this Saturday against a Big East opponent, and we're certainly excited to be back home, play against a very quality football team as UConn. So with that, I'll open up for some questions.
Jump over some of the things that you saw and going over the tape that you could have done differently in the first half, because it went from being dominated to dominating. What changed?
Well, I think just our mentality, in terms of, just our mentality. You look at as coaches, and I had a great meeting with our staff and our team, and these young men and our coaching staff all know that, we were not playing with the type of energy that we needed to play. And it was a mentality. It wasn't physical. It was mental. And so, I'd say out of the 20-some-odd plays in those 7 possessions, because after the first series, we're up on the board 7-0, and you're thinking to yourself, hey, there's nothing better to start a game than to get 7 points off that first possession, and then we just go cold turkey for 7 possessions. And then I really felt, looking at the calls and the execution of those calls, and I would say we'd look at maybe 2 calls out of those 20 plays that we might have said, hey, maybe we had a better call. But it's execution, and it's our players playing to that high level of intensity that you need to have in order for you to win, and win whether you're at home or on the road. And that's why I was very specific to my points at halftime to this football team, because I knew they weren't playing the way they were capable of and the way we were coaching them.
Coach, what'd you say at halftime?
I said a number of things that I really felt came from the heart, and but that's not, look, this team is better, okay? And I told the guys, I said, listen, it's not easy. If it was easy, everyone would win. The hardest thing to do is win a doggone football game, and, we had our shot. But, as I told them, I said, nobody expected, for us to go out there and go 7 straight series without a first down. And, and that really in itself. And then at the end, here we are, ready to get close to taking this thing home with a big win. And so you're a play away. You're a play away from, feeling like, man, we've arrived, and we know it's just a fact of the matter. We need to get better. Simply get better, play 4 quarters of football, and we're doing a better job. We're not turning the ball over. We've had 3 very solid days of running the football. Our turnover margins in the plus category. If you look at all things from, a year ago to this time, we're a better football team. And, it's going to take some time. But I told them, I said, nothing better than this week against UConn at home.
I think part of that is turning that inexperience into experience, because it seems like in all 3 games there was almost a refocus point where the team all of a sudden started looking like the football team you want them to look like.
Yeah, and I want them, every player, to play that way, exactly. And that's what we're working on, and we're striving. And I know I've got a young man here that represents everything that we're trying to do, you know, not only on the field but off the field. And he's a true leader by his actions, and you know, he's a committed young man. And you saw it again Saturday that this young man, Alex Nutz, has the playmaking ability. And that's what we need. We needed, you know, look at the first half, we had 2 big plays, explosive plays. In the second half, we had 9. You know, we had probably the most explosive plays in one singular game this past week. So we know we have the capabilities of doing it. And now what we need to do is just, you know, keep our mindset locked in 4 quarters and play with superior effort than our opposition.
Jeff, how confident are you, you know, getting off the mat and all that stuff? You said they responded well in the game, but now, this week, next game, how confident are you that they'll bounce back? Are there any indications this week already you can see that they're going to be all right? Or?
Well, I like the way they went up. You know, we had a great team meeting yesterday. You know, our coaches did a great job coaching them up, making the corrections that needed to be made. Our kids did not make excuses. You know, they weren't, you know, I tell them all the time, I don't want a bunch of thin-skinned people around me. You know, this is important. You know, it's important to me. It's important to you guys that we correct these mistakes. And they knew within. Now, that's why it was great just to see how well they responded on the field yesterday, in the weight room. You know, nobody was making excuses. So I know that they know we let one slip through our fingers. And, you know, at that point, you know, you live and learn, and this is a perfect time to bounce back and get back into playing this great game and come together as a football team.
Alex, we talked last week after the game about, you know, leadership and having an opportunity to become one of those leaders in the room. Who are some of the players, along with yourself, who you've seen step up and you know, fill those roles?
There's a number of players. Brandon Oliver, our running back, just by the way he carries himself, the way he works hard in the weight room, the way there's no fear of running over defenders. People thrive in that energy. It's important to see. Like even like when we were down to Pitt, I mean, at the end of the game, he did not stop trying, did not stop running. Then you got guys like Chaz Anderson, our quarterback, who's just a gifted leader. It comes natural to him. He's into the church. He's getting people to follow him through faith. And it's just really important. I mean, we have confidence, which allows us to play better, carry out our assignments better. And then defensively, Khalil Mack, Steve Means, Sheila Verser. I mean, it's all the way to Richie Smith. There's a lot of senior leadership, and just the way they lead by example and they lead vocally, which is very important at both aspects.
Alex, can you talk about Saturday's game? Why do you think you guys started slow, and then what can you take from the strong second half?
I mean, I can't tell you why we started slow. There's no excuse to start slow. I mean, there never will be. You can kind of tell we were flat in our pregame, like hoorah. Maybe our pregame warm-up, we weren't as intense as we should have been. But as you saw, once we got started, I mean, there was no looking back. Like after we got in the locker room at halftime, Coach Quinn, fired us up, and we realized that we are a different team. We're better than this. We need to play better than this. And then once you saw us get going, if we play like that, no team in the MAC can stop us. I don't know if any team in the country can stop us.
Alex, when you talk about how different it is on offense this year for you guys, A, with Anderson, but B, with the balance you're getting, which you didn't get last year between, with the running game really not helping out. So what's it like this year?
Right, with Chaz, it's very important to have that leadership, instills that confidence in all the players. The line has more confidence, the receivers have more confidence, the running backs have more confidence. And then with the more balanced offense, it allows us to expand our playbook. With Bo being able to go run downhill and get outside, he's a two-way player. And he can catch the ball out of the backfield. So he's really a triple threat. And then that opens up our pass game with play-action plays, and then just allows us to expand the field a lot better.
Jeff, how do you, what challenges does UConn's offense present to you, given how they interchange the quarterbacks and don't one guy move the ball, the other guys fight the money?
Mm-hmm. Well, and you hit it right on the head, because you've basically opened up the dynamics of what you do and what it forces your defense to have to defend. You know, you have one guy in there who's a tremendous drop back passer and commands great, you know, decision making in terms of operating the offense. And then you have a guy who comes in there who can run the ball. So, you know, and he's a dual threat guy, because certainly you could say, well, he's going to run the ball, but at the same time, he's shown that he can mix it in with some throws. So, you know, it's going to place a tremendous, you know, it's going to demand a tremendous amount of focus and attention to detail with our defense. They have great personnel. That also creates a situation that you've got to be in great run fits. We got to do a great job of tackling, and we just need to be smart and have a great week of preparation for our kids to be ready to play Saturday.
In that sense, does it help your defense to have been able to practice against your offense? Because I'm not saying that, you know, you have certain similarities or certain, I'm not saying you're UConn, but you have a different dimension to your attack. Does that help?
Well, I hope that was a compliment. Thank you. No, yeah, you know, I think that is certainly a benefit when you have two very solid sides of the ball going against each other. And our philosophy has changed from a year ago offensively, and I think you're seeing that, and it starts up front. And we wanted to, take on, an understanding of our identity is going to be a physical, downhill running team. And we need people to, our entire team to understand what I mean, we people, that's going to benefit both sides. And the same thing with our defense, presenting multiple looks, because their defense is going to present multiple looks, 3 down, 4 down, man coverage, zone coverage. It's going to be a tremendous test for our kids. And, I feel very strongly that, the way I look at our offense and the way our defense defends us and vice versa, we get good looks each and every day in practice. So we'll be prepared and ready to go.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about you've been able to rush the ball. As far as the line of scrimmage, it's been like a good news, bad news things. You're averaging 159 yards rushing for you guys, but you're giving up an average of, I think, 196 against per game. Is that a tackling issue, an X's and O's issue that you're giving up that much? And what are you guys doing to working to improve on that?
Well, it starts with your run fits. We need to be more. We need to be more disciplined in our run fits, and then when we do get to the point of attack, certainly we need to do a better job of tackling because we have guys in position. And it's very important that we understand, that's going to continuously need to be improved upon in order for us to be a great defense. We need to stop people from running the ball, absolutely. And so I know our defensive coordinator, our entire defensive unit, is not pleased with our run defense right now, our run-stopping aspect of our defense. But, and that's what I keep telling them. I said, that's why there's so much room for improvement here, and we need to get back to the basics and keep coaching the fundamentals and make sure that each kid understands what their role and responsibility and assignment is, and then go execute with everything you have.
Coach, I know Khalil, obviously you've been moving him around an awful lot. He's lining up just about anywhere. Is there a spot that you prefer him as outside backer, where you want him in that rush position, or is he doing just as well in a stance?
Well, he's a tremendous player, and I think that's one of the great things that we have is the ability structurally to move him around without issue and create some advantages for us defensively. And and certainly with his talent and his ability, he's been able to show that and demonstrate that. I mean, he leads the MAC, I think, in tackles for losses right now, and explosive player. And that's the beauty of having a guy like Stephen Means, along with Khalil Mack and Jalil Verser, and Richie Smith. I know, we had him here a couple weeks ago, but those guys have done a great job, Gordon Dubois, to allow Khalil to be able to be moved around to showcase his talent and let him go play.
Hey, Alex, the Connecticut series, you play them every year, even back before you came here, the bowl game a couple of years ago. Has this become a pretty good rivalry? Is this a pretty good measuring stick for this team going against a big-time BCS school that you happen to see every year, could grow up against a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, we played them in the bowl game back in '08, and it was UB gave a good show. I wasn't there for that time. And then last year we played them competitively. First half we played strong. We were down just a few points going to halftime. And I think, yeah, it's a good measuring stick. I mean, they're a good team. I mean, the BCS championship game last year. So I think it's going to be a good test for us to see where we stand as a program, as ourselves. Are we ready to take the next step? So we're definitely excited to play them and see how we can fare against them.
They're a pretty big physical team on the lines, but as you mentioned, you were able to do some things in the passing game against them last year. Is that something encouraging as you start to get ready for this week's game?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have the most confident that our offensive line is going to be able to protect Chaz. And then their DBs, they like to go man. They like to play a little press. And so the receivers are definitely excited to get the opportunity to go against those type of corners. Chaz is going to need a little more time in the backfield. And then it's going to be our job to get open for him and be able to make a play on the ball.
This is one of those games last year that might have further inspired the mentality, the getting bigger, stronger in the offseason, because you were with UConn for most of that game, and it seems like they wore you down a little bit at the end. Was this one of those games that said we got to get a little bigger?
Well, I would say that as I look throughout the whole year and really getting to know our football team, we certainly know that UConn's success is because they have a lot of good power position guys, offensive line, defensive line. And you have to recruit that, and then you have to develop that. And that's the mentality that we went into the entire offseason. And if you look at it, we've been able to, really capitalize on that aspect of improvement. And so, again, these guys are just a classic Big East team. They're a solid group of guys, and they play hard. They play with effort, well coached, and it's going to take everything we have to measure up and make the plays, as Alex mentioned. And we got to do a great job coaching and a great job of preparing our kids. But I feel confident that our kids are going to respond, and that's really what I'm looking for, is to see our kids get better and keep improving and keep demonstrating that it's important to them each and every day.
Coach, speaking of the Big East, it's been kind of devastated by the loss of a couple of more schools. Do you see that as an opportunity for UB?
Well, the opportunity is again, I'm not the president and the athletic director here, but, our focus here for me as a head football coach is to get this team ready to play in the Mid-American Conference. We're very pleased to be in this great league with all the great schools in our conference, and that's really the main focus for us to foresee or make any predictions as to what's going to happen in the future. I certainly don't know, because I've got a lot on my plate right now getting this team ready to play UConn.
Jeff, what though are your, just thoughts? I mean, you coached in the Big East in Cincinnati. Your thoughts at what is going on and just the almost musical chairs nature of what's, the teams just jumping all over.
Yeah, that's a great question, John. I'm not really, I really don't have any specific response from that standpoint. I know that the key for us is to maintain an understanding that we are a Mid-American Conference school. And we're very proud to be in this great league, and there's a lot of great schools in this league. We just added University of Massachusetts, to add that 14th team, which is a great opportunity for our entire conference and all the schools, and that's really the main focus for us, is to compete in this league and to come prepared each and every day to realize that that's really the main focus for us, is to compete and win for the MAC championship. And that's all I want our kids to be focusing on.
Jeff, this is a program, obviously, that's trying to reestablish itself, or maybe even establish itself if you take away the 1 year. When you reference a team, and when Alex mentioned it, Chaz referenced it after the game the other night too, as being flat in the first half. How does that happen? When there's really so much to prove. It's not like you were in there and they caught you off guard.
Yep. No, it's a great, because that's the thing. I always tell them, I said, I don't want to hear a word after the game. It's too late. Take care of business before the game, and that's as coaches, that's our job. That's my duty. That's my entire coaching staff's job, and our leadership in our football program, to make sure that our kids are in the right frame of mind and that they are hungry to compete at the highest level every single moment. That's just in my nature. I don't know any different. And for our football team to not have that, you know, the importance of how that needs to take place in a game was what I was referring to at halftime. Because no way am I going to I don't want a football team that doesn't go out there and play inspired football. It's too great of a game, and we work too doggone hard. And they showed that. It was kind of a little wake-up call. Okay, coach, we got it. We've been around you enough. We understand. And they showed it. It's just unfortunate we weren't able to, because if we were able to pull that one off, we wouldn't be, wondering whether we can do it or not. We know we can do it. We just need to do it from play one to play last. And we need to do a great job as coaches and our players to understand what it takes to get ready when time comes at kickoff.